Bless 'em all, bless 'em all, the long and the short and the tall. Bless all the sergeants and WO1s, bless all the...
I'm Dick Charlton, from Henley-on-Thames, born in Wargrave, what was it, Ennerton, born in Ennerton, Wargrave, 1920. I joined the territorials about pretty well a year before the war broke out. My brother was in the territorial army, and I thought I'd join it, you know, because they was expecting something was going to happen. We thought that we'd all be together, so that's what I did, and I joined that. Yes, in the Henley. Yes, the Oxen Buckler Infantry, 4th Battalion, Territorial Army. I can't remember rightly, but it's all gone there. But it was Henley, just it's all taken away now. It was just where the old car park, Grays Road car park was. Yes, that's where the old driller was.
Where did you do your training?
We went to Bicester. It was Bicester. That's where they had the rifle range. Out at Bicester.
That's definitely Bicester, not Bisley.
Was it Bicester or Bisley? I can't quite remember.
My father did his basic training at Bisley.
Bisley. I expect that's what it is then. I think it's at Bisley. It's a long time ago.
Yeah. Don't we know it?
Yes. That's
so
right.
Was
yeah.
that on rifle and machine gun, or just rifle?
No, just rifle. Yes. 303. Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes, enjoyed it. Yes. We had the rifle and the anti-tank rifle.
Oh, did you fire the boys? That's supposed to be quite a kick.
It was a kick. Yes. It just took you back a few. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. What you were just doing paper targets, were you, for the boys?
Yes, just targeting. Yeah, that's right. Yes.
And when you were doing marching drill, was that back in Henley?
Yes, we used to. Yes, then we used to train in Henley, in Harpston. We used to train all over in Harpston.
Yeah, in Harpston.
Yes, because we had I can't think of the name of the colonel there. Yeah, DePass, Colonel DePass. Yes.
Did you like him as a colonel?
Yes, he was. He was to do with the territorial army. He was for a bit. Yes, Colonel DePass.
On the 3rd September 1939, you officially...
yes, that's right. Yes.
How did you feel at that stage?
Well, I was working at Shiplake. And then first of all, I was rained down playing for Henley-on-Thames football, and then I was playing on the YM football ground because the Henley ground football was waterlogged because near the Thames, and I played Letchworth Town, and I'd been playing there at Letchworth Town. We beat them 2-0, and there was Mr. No, I can't think of his name now. Lee, Billy Lee. He was a big nose at Elm Park Grange, Reading, and he said he called me over and he said, "Would you like to have a trial for Reading?" I said, "Well, I'll think about it." Then all of a sudden I said, "Well, I'll give it a try." So anyway, he said, "I'll let you know," he said, "when you can have your trial." Well, then I was still working at shipwright. So when I come home one night, my mother said to me, "I think you've got a letter from the calling up papers." I said, "Are you sure?" "Yes, Dad said he thinks they are." So I looked at them, and then I was called up for the Royal Army. You see, called up to go join up. You see, because trouble was coming. You know, they knew that. So I had to go then down to the drill hall, and then we all met up, and then that's when we started. That's right, yes. And then the third, I think we was on manoeuvres different times and that, and marching. I said, then on I think it was the 3rd of September, war broke out then, didn't it? I think war broke out. So we all joined, we all amalgamated, and then we was all training. Then about 3 weeks' time, we moved off to Newbury. We went to Woodhay, and that's where we went to Woodhay. We stopped over there training on Snell's Moor Common, you know, trenching, digging in, and all that sort of thing, tank traps. And then after that, about a month's time, we went by train, and they took us down to Southampton. All the Ox and Bucks, you know, the 4th Battalion was all there, and we boarded the ship, and then we moved out in the sea, and we moved out and we stopped there in the sea for a bit, and then at about 2 o'clock in the morning we moved over to Le Havre, and then we got on the train to Brobeck, and that took us out to Saint-Germain. And then we was there for a while. I said, and then after that, the order come through, we was going to move up to the north of France, which was Grand-Étiche, Petit-Étiche. And we got up there, and we was up there for a tidy old while. They was just, they was putting up tank traps and that, that's what they was doing, I said. But of course I was Batman to Lieutenant Charlton, I said, so I was quite busy with building tank traps. And then we were up there for about a couple of months, and then 3 months. Then we moved on down to Laforey, because they kept moving us about. I said, we was down in Laforey, I said, for I suppose about a few weeks. Then they moved us again. We had to go up to Thumeries. While they was at Dams, I said, they was on manoeuvres, doing their and then I looked after the 3 officers, and then the order come through then that we had to report back to the battalion, because I was on the 10th of May, and they was moving up to the Belgium line, So I said, that following day, I said, on the 10th, we moved up to Belgium. We moved up just outside of Belgium, Brussels, just outside Waterloo. That's where we went, Waterloo. Then we was up there, and then we moved then we moved out to up through the Ardennes, and then we got to the second line of defence.
How were you feeling? How were your comrades feeling?
Not very well, I tell you. I know, yeah, you was a little bit jittery, but you never worried about it, because simple reason was you had to go for it, and that was it. You was there. So we moved up on the edge of the wood, and we dug in there, I said, and we could hear all their guns going and that, and then they was coming back through our line, the first line. I said, in Sherwood Foresters, and they, I said, was coming back all through. So I said, they went through us. I said, we just still dug in. Then I said, after a while, the order come through to move out of the forest quick, because they was coming round us. Going to pincer movement, you see, to take it in. So the order was to get out. So that's when we started to retreating. And then we retreated right back. And then that's how it kept on all the time. Retreat, retreat, retreat all the time, because we never had the firepower as what they had, you see, like, and when they went over D-Day, we had nothing like that. No heavy firepower like they got like that. So we had to move back, and we moved back, kept going back and back. But one of the worst places I always remember is Tournai. Tournai was one of the worst places, because we were moving back there, I said, and when we got to Tournai, we was all going down the road, transport and all the battalions. There was the 1st Battalion, the 43rd and the 4th Battalion, and then after a little while, as we were moving down, they come over with all these Stukas, and they give us what hell they did. They dropped them, they did, yeah. It's terrible, there it was. It was a heavy bombing and that, you know. There was a terrible loss of life there, I know that, yes. So we what was left, I said, we carried on from there. You couldn't do anything about it. And we carried on there, and we moved right down, and then we carried right the way back into France. And we was down, and was Tournai in Tournai was in Belgium, wasn't it? I've got no idea, yeah. Tournai. I'm not sure. But anyway, we moved on down, and we carried on down, and then we got to right down to I was trying to think of the canal. Or the Albert Canal. We got on the Albert Canal. That was where we got on. We got stuck there again, we did. And we and then we was trying to hold them back there, but in the woods, just far from the Albert Canal there was the Scotch, the Royal Scots and that. They was all out there, I think. I can remember, because they was on the 51st Division, weren't they? And from there, I said, they said we'd move back. We're going back to Lille. That's where we was going. We're going to move back to Lille, and then then they changed it all. I said. Then they said we was going to head for Cassel, and then we was going to fight rear guard at Cassel, which we had done practically all the way down. And we was going to go to Cassel, and then and that was on top of the hill. That was right up in Cassel, and we was going up there, and we had it all back there. And then we all went up to the Oxen Bucks, the Gloucesters, and I think there was a machine gun battalion. Oh, I can't think of the name of the machine gun battalion.
Is this when you were the Batman for you were driving?
Yes. I was still with the forces, you see, because Major Charlton, Brigadier Lieutenant Charlton, he was a liaison officer to the battalion, and I was more or less like a runner, you see, a runner. And so we was up on Cassel, and we hadn't been up there long, as I said, before there was a recce up the top. I said, you knew what was going to happen then. I said, then they come over the following day, and they started bombing these Stukas. They started bombing us, you see. I said, and then we was sort of stuck up there, and they was bombing us. And then there's a lot got killed up there, I said. And then we had the order, 2 or 3 big vans, to bring the wounded out, because they're going to try and get the wounded out. And on a chateau. They was going to bring the wounded to this chateau near the coast, so they could get on the beaches, and they take a chance to get them back east, you see. But and so I went down with the driver, you see, on the lorry, and we took them out to this great chateau, and we dropped them all the wounded and that. There was 2 or 3 great lorries, and we took them all, and we dropped them all to this big chateau, and I come back to our BS line, the Oxen Box, you know, in 48th Nib up there. And I come back to the BS line, and my brother was there because he was on these ammunition lorries, he was. And I come back there, and of course I went in there, and we stopped for a bit. I had a cup of tea, and the driver I was with, we had a drink, we stopped there. And then I thought, what? I said to my brother, what, you edit? He said, Dick, he said, we're just going to go to the coast. Yeah, he said, we're working away the coast, see if we can get across, you see. So I said, oh, I might be all right then. The next thing, Lieutenant Stoner, he was head of the transport, he said, is there a private Dick Charlton here? So Jim said, yeah, it's my brother here. He said, he's just coming back. He's been out with the wounded. Oh, he said, well, they got a report back to Cassel, which I had to report back to Cassel. When I got back to Cassel, after the following day, these Tiger tanks had closed the gap. So we were surrounded, you see, by all these Tiger tanks, Jerry. And
So your brother made it to Dunkirk, and you because you were called back to Cassel, you didn't.
No, he made it. Yes, he made it. He got away. My brother did. Oh, my brother got away. Yes, because he was in the and he come back to England, you see, and he got away, and then he joined the Royal Army Service Corps, and then he went over on D-Day. Yes, ammunition lorries, look. Yes, so he went that. Yes. So he got away, and so we was, and then we was up there, and then we was heavy bomb. We'd been up there, there was about a week nearly, and then and they kept bombing. So on the 10th, no, what was it? I think it was the 10th? I'm not quite sure, but the order was coming through then that we was going to move out that night at 10:30. I think it was on the 29th of May. We was going to move out, 29th of May we was going to move out. I've got an idea it is. Am I right?
Yes, the Battle of Cassel was from the 27th of May.
Oh, was it 27th?
30th was the last day of the battle.
That's right,
I don't know which day you were captured, though.
Yeah, that's right. The 29th of May we moved out in the evening. Yeah, we tied everything down so it wouldn't rattle, and then we moved out about 10:30 at night. And then when we got out nearly to Watteau, a little place called Watteau, and then they dropped these great very lights, and then it all opened up then, yes. And then all we had to do is head for the ditches on each side of the road, because we was setting sort of targets. So we headed into the ditches, and then we had to creep along the ditches, low down, you see. And then when we got to these roads, they'd had fixed lines on the roads. These bandus, you see. That's fixed line on the road with these bandus. They were terrific machine guns, terrible. And then you had the chance, you had to go over the road and down into the next ditch. Well then, whoever, lucky ones, unlucky ones. So one at a time you was going over the ditch. So a lot of them got machine gun down, see. The lucky ones all got away, you see. Then we carried on to there. And we had Sergeant Major Bailey with us, you see, so, because you're platoons, you see. And we had Sergeant Major Bailey with us. And we got to right to this edge. There was a big hedge, and we went in the edge, and we just crept along the edge, and Sergeant Major Bailey said, "Head for that farm. We got a bit of a chance." But you see, in front there was a big main, and he put his hand up and he said, "Hold on." He said, "Head for the ditch." There was a ditch there, big ditch. He said, "Head for that ditch." He said, "Get in there, cover for a bit, look." And then as we headed for that ditch, because that big main was a machine gun doing. So we had to get in there. And then we laid in this ditch, and we laid in the ditch for a little bit, and then Sergeant Major Bailey, he'd been a prisoner of war in the last war. He said, "Oh, won't be again." He said, "So what we'll do, we'll go one at a time, up and over, and just head for that farm and far away." He said, "See if we can get in there. We got a bit of cover," which we were going to try. It was a chance, you see, because we were stuck there. And he got up on the top of the trench, and and down he went. And his last words was, "Give up, lads." That's what he said. So, of course, we all laid back there, and we chucked our rifles up. And then they all come across, and that's where I was taken prisoner there. Yeah,
wow.
a place called Batu.
Yeah, that's on
That's
the,
that, I think, yes.
yeah, that's correct.
That is the 30th of
May.
May.
1940.
That's it. Yes.
So how did you feel being captured? Apart from the obvious.
I know. Yeah. Well, the way Sergeant Major Bailey was on the bed, it wasn't very hopeful. Anyway, they just we took our hand grenades off, and we had all your ammunition, your pages, and rifles, and then we had to. They marched us all back up into the village or two, and we was up on this great big bank. I said to one of the lads, I said, "What, we're the only ones taken prisoner?" When we got up on this bank, there was about 30 or 40 more than that. They come all up there, collecting up there, you see. So we was up there. So we stopped up there on the bank, yeah, and guarding us.
So
And
only about 30 or 40 of you?
that was only for the start. Yeah, yeah. But then different places, they was bringing them in, you see. Yeah, because different platoons, so you got 3 platoons. And they was bringing them all in then. And then we, they marched us all up to this big field. And then when we got to this big field, they just stripped, went all through us to see what we ever got, you know, and that, yeah, anything like that, we said, you know. And then we was on that, we were going to start on that march then. And that's where I marched from there up to right up on the German border. That was Trieste. Yes. I was in there, well, we took 2 or 3 days because we got right up on the German border from where we were, you see. So day after day we just slept on the old grass and kept move. Yes.
Roughly how many days before you reached your destination?
Must have been 2 or 3 days. 2 or 3 days we went up there, yes. Then when we got up there was all these great cattle trucks, you know, and then they stuck us all in these all these cattle trucks, and there was about 30, I suppose, or more in a big cattle truck, bunged in there, and you had straw on the bottom, and then they moved us off then we ended up into Germany, you see. Then we was on for about a couple of 3 days because we was going up. We ended up in Lamsdorf. That's where we ended up in. We ended up in Lamsdorf, and that was it. Of course, that was then there was any amount of prisoners up there then. Yes, you know, different battalions and all that there. So we was up there for about a week. More than a week, but I think it was about a fortnight up there. We was up there, and that we did get something to eat. That was one thing. We get something to eat. We did anyway, and then they started to come in, and they was trying to get all the working parties out, because you was going to put your way into working parties. Then when you got your working parties all out, they photographed you about 20 or more, 25 more, in a block, and then you had your hair all shaved off, you had your number on there. Mine was 11465, I know that. And they photographed you, and then you was ready for the parties where they could, disperse you to. Yeah. Then a couple of days I went out to on the Polish border. Yes. Yeah, I went on the Polish border. I was up at Lamsdorf there. Stalag VIIIB, was it? Well, mine.
So Lamsdorf is Stalag VIII.
Yeah, then I went out to Blackhammer. I went out to Blackhammer, that was right. Just on the Polish border. It was up the top of Silesia, wasn't it? We was fed there at Lamsdorf anyway. We had food and that. They did feed us a bit there at Lamsdorf, yes. And of course they was amalgamated. There must have been, there was a few hundred in Lamsdorf, you see, because that was a big size it was. Yes.
Was it a purpose-built camp, or was it
Oh yes, all built, yes, all probably built. It's all in the forest, all forest all ranger, yes. Lamsdorf, yes. And then they moved us out on these working parties, and that's how I come out on that working party, yes. And a lot of the lads in their battalion, which got in there, you see, so we had one or two of the friends, we knew. But it made no difference, because you all stuck together. And that's where I got out to, and that's where I started. Yeah, Blackhammer.
Did you have any hobbies? Did you smoke? Did you sing? Did you draw?
We had no cigarettes or nothing. No, we had nothing of that. No, we had nothing what we stood up with. Then when we got to Blackhammer, then there was a big camp. Got this big camp, you see, and then was all the huts, you see. Then you had all your huts, and they was all numbered. I was in number 15. I know that. Then all 15 up, and then they got ready after we was there for a few days, pretty well a week. And then they got all the working parties out. And then we was working on the Ober-Silesian hydrogen works. That was 5 miles square. That was a big benzene, petrol, big works it was. That's where we was working. And then we were working there, you see. That's where made my stay for nearly 5 years.
When were you able to get a letter? Did they allow you to write home, or when did you receive a letter from home?
Oh, after about, I think it was about 6 or 9 months. I received letters, yeah. I received a letter. Didn't have many. I didn't get many letters. We had a few, yes. That's all we had, yes. And then a lot of those were black tea. Yeah, we're at Blackhammer now.
I'm going to ask about Red Cross parcels. Did you get any Red Cross parcels?
Yes. Yeah, it took about, I think it took about nearly 6 to 9 months before we ever had some. Yeah. Then the parcels start coming in. Yes. We had some from Canadian parties from Canada, yes, and England, yes, and it's to do with old Geneva, wasn't it? The Geneva, yes, we had the parcels come in, which done us. But first of all, when we got there, we went on these working parties, And as I say, in the winter, oh, it's terrible. Those who didn't have many boots were all war 8, right at the bottoms. They started issuing us with those clogs. Oh yeah, clogs things. By crumbs, you ever tried walking along in snow with clogs? It's a great change, I'll tell you, by crumbs, yeah. Terrible it was. Then of course, when we'd settled down in there, then Sergeant Major Aberfield from the Gloucesters, he got in touch with them, and then over in England, and then they started sending us some stuff out, like boots, your army boots and different things sent them out, you see. So we managed to get different things like that sent out, look. Yes.
Were they sent them with or without hobnails? The boots, were they with or without hobnails?
Ammunition boots. Your army ammunition boots, yeah, sent out.
With hobnails?
Yeah, that's right. They sent, we got boots out, yeah, ammunition boots. Yeah, they sent them out and all that come out, they did, yeah. And
how was your uniform bearing up to working? PD, your battle tunic and your...
it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad, it wasn't too bad. But I think they started, they couldn't stand that stuff. But the chaps used to, keep them pretty good, they were with them. Yes, it wasn't too bad. Then I think they sent some stuff out. They did, I suppose, through the Geneva Convention, I think. I think they had a lot of the, if I can remember, there was some stuff sent out, for the lads. Yes.
Any ever thoughts of escaping, or did you hear of any escape attempts?
Oh, yes, there was one who tried to escape, yeah. Some of them did get away, yeah. Because you see, you had lookout posts on all each corner, machine guns on them, you see. And then you had your double barbed wire there, big open place, and the barbed wire there again. So, and the guards walked between the, ups and down between the barbed wire, yes.
How were the successful escape attempts made?
Well, some seemed to get away, because their camp was right on the Adolf Hitler Canal. Always remember that, Adolf, yeah. So air camp was there. If you could walk about 25, 30 yards, there was the canal. Yes. So, yes.
So did they use the canal to get away as a way of escape?
One or two did get away, yeah. Because you see, you go on the job, the Over-Silesian work, and down there, see? It's all wood all the way around. So even when they used to come over in the planes, recce or anything like planes, and some of these used to just come over, and if they got shot down, they used to land in the wood, and the lads, there was the lads would try to get out to them, to try and get them. Before the Jerry had them, you see. Yeah, someone did. They tried to get out them so they could just put their one of their battle jackets on. They were crafty as anything, the lads were, to try and get them back into camp. You never credit. Yeah. Oh dear, yeah.
So did you work every single day? Did you have a day off?
Sundays. Never worked Sundays. Worked Saturday to Saturday. Yes. And if anything went wrong in the camp, you work Sundays as well.
Did you have any rapport with some of the German guards? Or did you speak to them? Did you exchange goods if you could?
Yeah, some were all right, but some were, rotters, you get that, don't you? Yeah, trust a bit of authority, but some were all right, yes. You couldn't do much about it, could you? The position we was in.
You didn't exchange goods. Some people use guards as a way of trying to get perks and special treats.
No. The only treats we got was out on the job. we used to get to know different ones, you know, different people, and you used to get these little loaves of bread, yeah, what they call Simmel's bread, and we used to get those, and they used to put them down their trays. They used to have put them down their trousers, and then come into camp in the trousers. For the blessed guys got hold of that, and they kept it in your legs. But they used to get away with a lot though. But towards when we've been there a few years, I think they eased it off a little bit. You know, they give in a little bit. So no, we seem to get on there.
Same barracks? Did you change bunk, or was there any more movement within the camp over the years?
In the same camp. There was all different camps all around there. You see, next to us was the Bow, what they call the Bow Battalion, 344. Yes. And one of my mates from Henley, yeah, poor Cassel Clements, he was in the Bow Battalion, and what we used to do is, when the guards, they come up, meet and cross, and then go back, see, or when they turn to go back, he used to throw stuff over the walls, what he wanted, and I used to throw stuff over what he wanted in the parcels, you know. Yeah. Oh, Cassel, yeah. I can always remember that. No, Clements. Yeah, because his brother got killed. Yeah, Frank Clements, his brother got killed, yeah. Cassel managed it, because Cassel was in the Royal Artillery. Yeah. That's right, yeah.
But that's hilarious, you used to throw things to each other.
That's all right, yes, yes. And then the biggest trouble was when we started to move in, when the D-Day started, that's when we had to watch out, because they was coming across and they was giving the Germans what-ho, weren't they? So they got a bit different then, you know, yes. So I was there for that. But the worst bit was when...
sorry to interrupt. How did you know about how were you getting information? How do you know about D-Day? Do you have secret radios or...
Yes. Yeah, I'll tell you that. You had a stove, and you could move the sort of stove a bit, and underneath this stove, I think one of the officers, they'd got this receiving thing, you know, Aiton's receiving. Yeah, because he was in intelligence, and that's how we come to. And he used to pick up all the information, wrote it on a piece of paper, all the information, and he used to take it round to all the rooms and show them all. Then as soon as he'd done it, he burnt it. And that's what he done. And that's how we knew the information, what was going on. Yes, that's right, it was in the intelligence, yes.
So the German attitude definitely changed when they knew they were losing the war.
When things was getting bad for them, then they started. There was a little bit. Yes, they wasn't doing so well. That's it. Yes, they took it out of us, you see, and then of course towards the end, when the Russians started to come through, and the Americans and the English and Americans were all coming up, that's when the action took place, because we wasn't far from Auschwitz, you see. That was up in Poland, you see, in Poland, yeah. Oh, I've seen all the Poles come on the job, poor old Jews, oh dear. Oh, it breaks your heart, you used to see them. Oh dear, yes. That's why looking in the paper, I kept looking. I thought, I used to say to them, "Oh, it was up there. I know all about them, the poor bloomers." They used to bring them on the job. Yes, they used to bring them on the job. The Silesian works, and they used to have to do all these jobs, and someone could hardly stand up. Because we happened to get hold of one to speak to him. And he was saying, I got to work, he said. Oh, they put me in the coach buses and take me off to gas chambers. Look.
Wow. So,
Yes, it was terrible. It was, yeah.
so your working parties were mixed with the Jews.
The Jews were all,
from
yes,
Auschwitz.
they had all guards. They did. Oh, rotten to the core. Oh, I've seen some terrible things. And then we was staying in the working day on the works one day, and some of the lads said, "Look up there," and you could see this little silver thing flowing about rain. They said, "Oh, we're going to catch it." So that was getting towards the end of the war, and then they come over and bombed it all. Yeah, they all come over fortresses, and all these Lancasters come over, and they bombed it all. They more or less carpet bombed it, and that's where we shifted out then. Yeah, the guards tried to stop us, but we didn't. No, because they was just as bad.
So they bombed your camp or your works place?
They bombed the Oversleasian Opium Works. Phew. They started bombing that. Cool. They did bomb the camp. Yeah,
by mistake.
Yeah, they bombed the camp down. Yeah, they hit that. Yes, and that's that's when we started to move out. That was on the 17th of January. Yes, the Russians were coming down, and the Americans were coming up. With the British, Americans coming up, and then we had to move out then, and then when the order of them was on the 17th of January, the order was come through. Pack all your stuff, what you can carry, the rest you leave on your bunk. That's all. Yeah, take what you can carry and all that, and leave it on your bunk. So we did, and then that night, the following night, we moved out. That was I think 17th of January. We moved out of the camp there, and there was about a foot of snow on the ground, and we moved out of the camp, and we had to go all through these woods, yeah, and they were going to see if they could cross the Oder Bridge, you see. So we walked about 10 kilometres, and we walked 10 kilometres all up through there, and you could hear the guns going up and the Russians that was coming down. And we moved up there, we moved about 10 kilometres, and when we got up there on the main road, all this heavy German stuff was coming over the bridge. And so this VIIIB, German officer, VIIIB, he come over and he said, "I'm ever so sorry, you'll all have to move back to your camp," because he said all the troops, all the heavy stuff's going up. So we had to move all the way back to the camp, another 10 kilometres. And we got back to this camp, and we, and Sergeant Major Aberfield of the Gloucesters, he said, "Just lie on your bunks, and when you hear the falling, get out," he said. "Just lie on your bunks," and then, so, which we did. And when we laid on these bunks, we could hear boom, and all of a sudden, that was the shells going over the camp, what was left of it. So, then all of a sudden, it must have been about 5 o'clock in the morning, the falling went, and then we all moved out. And that's when we went, and we crossed the Oder Bridge, went over the Oder, across the bridge, and that's when we started our march. 7th of the, and
how many in this group? The whole camp, roughly how many?
Yes, the whole camp. Oh, it must have been about 600, 700, yeah. Because there's all different battalions, you see, and the guards, Scotch, it's all, we're all mixed, you see. We've got to, yeah. Then we moved out that night, and then we kept going and going.
I read that in some cases sledges were made to carry equipment. Did any of you make a sledge?
No, we never nothing like that. No, the only thing we had was old trucks, and they had these little trucks sort of thing. Little things just, yes. It's all march. The guards, what we had, more or less had to do the same as we did. Walk. The only difference is they had, wherever we stopped, they had good billets, but we stuck up in the old barns and the straw and all that. I started off there, yeah, once we started there, and I carried on there.
Did you have hot food, because it's very cold?
No, we didn't get anything much, you know, till we get to these places. Sometimes we had a bit of soup, but I'll tell you what, we started on the move, and they was trying to lead us right out of the way. We went all through the foothills of the Carpathian Mountains. We had a part of Slovak, I can remember that, because our littlers were all, had these, all the littlers running about on these skates and that, yeah. And we come down there, cross Sudetenland, we come across there, and there was a blessed snow. I'll tell you what, all you had to do was brush it like that, and it's pulled up again. And we kept walk, yeah. And you was doing about, what, 14 kilometres a day and more than that. Yeah, walk, yeah, crumpled up. And I was saying, you had to keep going, because if you didn't, they just turned out, they wouldn't worry about you. No, they was shot a lot of them, you see. Yes, those who couldn't make it, well, no, they wouldn't let you. Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. And we marched from there. We never took our clothes off. I had my clothes on there till I got right down to just outside of Munich. Yeah, I carried that clothes on me all the way. The only thing I took off were their ammunition boots. Yeah, because your feet might swell, you see. Yeah, and half the time they was going, the lads were moving. If you come to a field where there's spuds or these are called rabble and that, the lads were running out there getting them, because they're like turnips, you see. They ain't like that chewing. It was terrible, yeah.
Did you have a spare set of socks? I mean, your socks must have just disintegrated.
Yeah. No, we had balaclavas on, and your beard grew through the balaclava, I tell you. Yeah. Grubs is a blessed cold. Of course, you just imagine the 7th of January coming up right up there. Snow and cool. That was, if they wouldn't worry about doing that, all they run about is trying something to eat. That was a snag, yeah. Oh, we come all through there, and then we headed, then we come all down, and we come through that, and then we was working over the rain. Then we was heading for Bavaria. I can't remember. We heading for Bavaria. We come through Eger, and then we carried on, and then we come right up to Beirut, and we was right up in the hill. We was right up in the hill, and that's where we stopped. We had a week there, and some just took they managed to take this a bit off there so they could have a wash. That was the main thing, your wash. We had a wash.
Were you still getting Red Cross parcels on this walk? I guess you would, because they couldn't catch up with you.
No, they didn't have no parcels. Some of the lads took a lot of the Red Cross with them, you know, bits and pieces, but that didn't last long. No. And I'll tell you what, when we was at Beirut, the bombing, they must have killed an horse. This is true. They killed an horse. We was up on the hills, and I suppose they must have got there. And we had some horse meat. They done that. They cut the horse up, and all the lads had horse meat. And believe you me, that tasted good, I'll tell you. Cool, a bit of horse meat. Because we was right up on the hill, and you could see right up on the other hill, because we used to hear the old church bell, cling, clang, clong, cling, clang, clong. And right down the valley was Beirut, and that was an open sea. Yeah. And they sent us down there the first day to clear, because they bombed it. They bombed Beirut, and that was an open sea, because they had a big hospital down there. And they bombed it, the station and all that. And we had to go down there and do a bit of clearing up. Well, the lads couldn't do it. They was all laid out, and someone, you was weak as rats. Well, I was only about, I was about 7.5 stone, or it was like a rake handle, yeah. Talk about sailor phones on your hips, and then they put us back up there then, and then after we'd been there for a bit, right down the bottom we could look in the valley, and there was the big brows there. There was all these trucks, and one of the guards says, "You finish walking, you're going to go into the camp. That's just out in Munich." Was it Stuttgart or something? He said, "That's where you're going to." He said, "Oh, that'll be something then." We've been walk. You can just imagine. And you never took your clothes off. No, you just lived in it, yeah, by your shoes. We had a little wash up there, you see. That's one thing, we did get a bit of wash there, because we was up there for about a week, you see. Then we moved, and then the following day, we come out, and we looked down, and they flattened all these trucks. Yeah, they come over and bombed them. Yeah, they flattened all these trucks, so we had to walk straight back down to the camp. Yeah, and we got down to this big camp just outside of Munich, and that's where we were for about, I think it was about there 10 days down there. Yeah, and of course my brother was a sergeant, you see, Charlie. So they was putting all the NCOs in one block. Well, this chap there, he was in General Patton, and he said, "Dickie," he said, "do you want to go with Charlie?" He said, because he was in their camp. He said, "Do you want to go with Charlie?" He said, "I want to keep my mate." He said, "So how about changing tunics?" So we changed tunics. And I went a sergeant in the drum line, and he went in the Oxford box. He had my union, so he went with his mate, and I went with my brother Charlie. Yeah.
So when did your brother join you? Because this is a different brother to the one that went back via Dunkirk.
Yeah, well, he was in a different. He was in a different. Yeah, he joined up. Yeah.
Two brothers.
Yeah, he joined up with us because Charlie was in another camp. He was in where they was doing all these logging in, cutting down trees and that. That's where he was. Well, then, the old, one of the big noises in the camp, Sergeant Major Aberfield, he said, I went down one day and I said, by the way, I think my brother's down in another camp. It was down near Cassel. So he said, yes, he said, and in the camp we used to get sometimes one of these big noises of the Germans, but he was somewhat related to the royalty. What you call, the royalty. He was something to do with that. He was
English royalty.
Yeah, they was royal. I don't know what it was. Is it the House of Hanover or something like that? Big noise. And so he spoke to him, and he said, "I'll see what I can do." So he took the name down, see, Sergeant, and about a week afterwards, Charlie come up to our camp, and that's how Charlie come out with it. He's there. Yeah.
So that's the first time you've seen Charlie for.
Yeah, I hadn't seen him for about 2 years, and he come up. So Charlie was in our camp, you see.
Was Charlie captured at the Battle of Cassel as well?
Yes, he was captured.
And he was in the same camp with you for a while,
yes.
Or not? At what point did you separate from Charlie?
When I come out of Air Force, the big force, and on working parties, that's when Charlie was on another party. He's put on another party, you see. But luck would have it, he was only about, I think he was about 20, 30 kilometres away. Yeah.
Up until that, in Stalag VIIIB, Lamsdorf, you were together.
Yeah.
That must have been a great comfort to be.
But Charlie never worked. And no, sergeants, never worked. Sergeants and all the, yeah, that's right, yeah. They never worked on the blooming job. It's all the privates worked on the job. Yeah, I've got photographs, but they're all up in Shirley. So, and that was it. And then we stopped in there, as you say, in there, yeah. And we never had nothing. They used to go out in notes. They used to go out in notes and try and creep through. See, because there was a great big potato, doings there. You see. I always call it. And they used to go out there at notes and try and get these big potato places, you know. But that's how it was. That's right. And then we was there for about a week. I was about a fortnight in there, and there was everything I could get. Because there wasn't much you could do, just, and there was all fenced right in. Yeah. Now and again they used to try and creep out. And in this camp, just down below us, was all these Sikhs, all the prisoners of war, the Sikhs, the sepoys, you know, the Indians, yeah. And then we was there for about a fortnight. Then one day, the lads broke up and they looked around. They said, "What in it, bloomin' quart?" And they all moved out. They had done, and you could hear all the machine guns going, and that. They said, "Well, I reckon they're getting nearer," and they did. And Patton was the first one to come through into the camp. Americans, yeah, General Patton. He come in, and they pushed the Boers right down with these great tanks, pushed them right down, and so that was it. And then all the lads in these tanks was throwing all these KA rations over to you, these packets of stuff, you know, the things. So all the lads were diving for them.
So the Germans made a temporary camp for you at this stage?
They gone.
You weren't billeted?
No, they were all gone. Because there was all machine gunning, and there was all machine gunning all round. And we knew full well they was right on top of us. We could hear the machine guns. So, yeah, the lads could hear them in the distance. Yeah, they was getting near.
Because there is film footage of the Shermans crashing down the gate of a
yeah, they never worried about the gates. They just come down and push right through the walls, push them all down. Yeah,
so
great
I think Patton spoke to you as a group, is that right?
Yes. He said, he stood up in the tank and he said, "I'm glad to say all you lads are all free now," He said, "But I can't stop." He said, "I'm carrying on through, but I'll leave Patch. He's following me up. He'll see to all, you know, he'll see to all." And he went on through, and then old Patch come in after. Oh, it must have been a good while after he come in, and then that's why we had all these rations, and he sorted everything out and all that, and he stopped there, he said, for a good while to got everything under control, and he said that you'll all be moving all soon to there's an airfield just on the on the edge of the Blue Danube. There was a big airfield there on the edge of Blue Danube. That's where we was going to move out to. We was going to get he said there was going to be Dakota's land there to ferry you over to Brussels. So after we've been there for a couple of days, we all moved off out to this airfield, and then we stopped the night we slept on the grass. That's about all we did, sleep on grass. Slept on there because there was no room. And then after a couple of days, they come in with these what do you call them? Just said the name of it.
Dakota.
Dakoters.
C-46.
Yeah, DC-46s, weren't they? Dakoters. They all come in, and then we all boarded the planes. There was 28. You could get 28 in those planes. Yeah, because there was more or less, couldn't you, sit all up in the sides. and they took us straight over to, then we flew right over and we ended up in Brussels, yeah, St Anne's Barracks. And there, when we landed in St Anne's Barracks, we all lined up and they give us sandwiches and a cup of tea and a cup of drink, and then we moved off to into the barracks then.
At what stage did they use the DDT to delouse you?
Yeah, well, I'm just getting to that now.
Sorry to interrupt there, carry on.
Yeah, and then we moved off into these big barracks in the, yeah, St Anne's Barracks. And then, when we got in there, we had to shed all our clothes off, because we had lice and fleas and cross and talk about smells. And we had to put it all in a great heap. We put it all in a great heap because it was going to be burnt. We put it all in a great big heap, and then they delays us all with this DDT, delays all, and then we walked through and we went in the showers, and they showered us all, and then we followed through, and then we got all new kit and everything and that, you know, yeah, all new uniforms, kit and everything, rifle and all. We followed in there and got all that lot. Then blokes kept on, when we're going to the canteen, when we're going to the canteen, let's just stop it. Anyway, when we did all that, we all went to the canteen. Then the order come out then, don't eat too much, because you haven't had any grub for ages, because your stomach, you see. Yeah, blokes were trying to stuff it down. Anyway, we had that, and then we had a first payment then. That's the first payment we had. We give us so much money, you see, payment. We had a bag of, then the lads could go out into Brussels. A lot of the lads went out in Brussels and could go out there. They were laid a few hours just to go and back in again. Then we was there for about a week, and then the Lancasters were operating in Italy. They was coming over the following day to take us back to England. So following morning, when they was coming over, following morning we went down to the airdrome, and there's all these great Lancasters coming in, and they closed the bomb racks, and we come over and we landed in Ford, in Worthing, and that's where I was on English soil again.
I find it incredible they gave you rifles like you were fit to,
yes,
fight.
Yes. Because when I come out, no, and I had 5 weeks, and when I come over there, we had all doings, and then they give us their rail passes, their pass and their rail tickets and all that, and then I come down into London, and we got trains and brought me back into Henley, and I had 5 weeks leave after that. I saw this, 5 weeks leave. And then I was, I went back to Great Misselden. That's just near Aylesbury, isn't it? Great Misselden. I was out there, and then a lot of the lads we was all out there. A lot of the lads were all different, Scotch, Irish, and Welsh. Were all in there. And then and some of the lads said, Dickie said, "You want to say you come from up north?" He's saying 10 to 1 you'll get stuck down in somewhere near Henley or in the south, look, see. So I used to a lot of the lads were, so I said I'd come up north. In the end, I ended up in Chester, Army Sectional Training Unit, 1st and 2nd Astute, you see. That's where I ended up in. And we ended up in there, these great American barracks. Lovely barracks, they were lovely, all beds all up the side and all different to what the British had. And I was up there, and then training again, out on training. And the word come through, they kept on saying, where you going? They reckons we was going out to Burma. was going to ask for training to go into Burma. Then one day we went into Wrexham, you know, on a day's leave, you know, the old lorry bands took us down to Wrexham and that. And then we heard a lot of the lads when we was out in the square, there was a lot of lads cheering. They said, I said, what are you cheering about? He said, look on that flag board there, Dickie. And that's where they dropped that bomb in Hiroshima, didn't they? And that finished it then. Lads were cheering, well, thank God for that.
At what point did you get separated from your brother coming back from Brussels?
Yeah, well, he was a sergeant, so he was sent out to these prisoner of war camps, the German prisoner of war. That's where Charlie went to, my brother Charlie.
Yeah, but you were together on the walk. You were together because you were wearing the
yes.
Durham infantry sergeant's
yes,
tunic.
Yes.
You must have. You were with him up until then.
The only time he went for me was when we come home. I had to go up to Chester, and Charlie went out on. He went out to these prisoner of war camps. He was to do with that, you know, looking at it. Yeah.
In Brussels, were you together in Brussels?
Yes, oh yes. I was all together in Brussels, yeah. Yes, we was there, yeah. We come home, we dropped off together, yeah. We come home, and that's right, yeah. And that was it. So that finished that. So I ended up with looking at all these great warehouses. I went up there, I was up near Queen's Ferry somewhere. I was on these big warehouses. That's where I finished up with it there. Yes. Goodbye. Thank you very much.